Hi, and welcome to video 10 of our dplyr series. I know there's a lot of videos in this series, but dplyr is one of the most important group of packages, most important package that you will find, and find it super useful. So I want you to get really comfortable with it. One of the things we're going to talk about today is chaining. So how do you put together a set of commands? So we have looked a little bit at piping, but I'm going to show you why we do piping. So one of the things you could do is you could group it first and save that in an intermediate result. So you could, and then you could do a select and save that in a different result, right? And then you could take that and summarize and get a third intermediate variable, and I keep just adding stupid names like A1, A2, and A3 that don't really mean a whole lot. And then lastly, I could filter my result. Say I just want the ones with arrival greater than 30 or departure greater than 30. And then I could look at my result. Okay, so I get results here, but another thing I could do if I didn't want to save the intermediate functions, and this is going to be difficult to read, is I could nest the function calls. So what I mean by that is the last thing I want to do is filter, right? So I'm going to start at the inside. The first thing I want to do is to, let's see, I'm going to select, and I'm going to group by first, and then I'm going to arrange. I can't even keep up with what this thing is doing, right? It's giving me the same results, but darned if I can figure it out when I'm just reading it, okay? Instead of all that, we really prefer to use the pipe because it's so much more readable. So doing all of this with the pipe, I would do it as follows. I would start with my flights, say first I'm going to group it by year, month, and day. Then I'm going to select the year, month, the day, the arrival delay, the departure delay. Then I'm going to summarize, setting the ARR to be the mean arrival delay and DEP to be the mean departure delay. Then I'm going to filter and select those with arrival delay or departure delay greater than 30. So these are with averages greater than 30. So I can then see the days where I had. So what I have done is I have grouped it by the year, month, and day. So for each, basically, day, month, and year, so for every individual day, I am going to choose the arrival delay and the departure delay and compute the average of those. So what I'm going to do is select those days that have an average arrival delay or departure delay bigger than 30. And now I can look at here and see, okay, January 16th was a bad day for arrival delays, January 31st, so forth, February the 11th. So I could use this then to inform some more questions about the data set, like why these dates? Maybe I want to merge this data set with a weather data set, or then look up these dates on a weather data set and see where there are weather events on these dates that contributed to these delays. So I use this to do a deeper dive, but I'm showing you now this is the way we prefer to show the data set, right, with piping, where you do each step one step at a time and feed it to the next one. Now you'll notice I did not assign this back to flights, so if I look at flights, it is still the full data set, okay? It just gives me some analysis, and if I wanted to save that, I could, okay, when I do the analysis. Now let's look and see the flights that were not canceled. So I'm going to save, because I'm going to use this in several different analyses. So I'm going to save this result as an intermediate result. So I'm going to save this as not canceled. So not canceled will be flights that don't have an NA for departure delay and don't have an NA for arrival delay. Okay. Now, some useful summary functions. Let me just show you a list of those. Okay, here's some useful summary functions. We've seen mean and median. You can also do SD for standard deviation, IQR for the interquartile range, min, max, quantile, first, last, nth. N is the count, or N distinct for the number of distinct entries. So those are useful summary functions that you can use with dplyr. Okay, so that's enough for this one. We'll come back and pick up where we left off and do some examples of some of these summary functions.